Marcia King. This is the tale of an unknown girl that was murdered, but her case was never solved even till now. This is the story of Marcia King. But before we start, I would like you to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Arkansas native Marcia Lenore Sossaman King, 21, was found dead in Troy, Ohio, around 48 hours after her murder on April 22, 1981. She was born on June 9, 1959. For 36 years, nobody knew who her remains belonged to until April 2018, when DNA research and genetic genealogy finally solved the mystery. King was one of the first people whose bodies were unearthed and then recognized by forensic science. On that day in 1981, April 24, three guys were driving down Greenlee Road in Newton Township, Troy, Ohio. Greg Breidenbaugh, one of the guys, spotted a buckskin poncho in a ditch and brought it back. He called his pal Neil Hoffman and suggested that Neil take a closer look at the poncho. After investigating further, Neil Hoffman found a woman unconscious in the ditch. A fetal position was assumed by the woman. She lacked both footwear and socks and was lying on her right side. The men instantly ran and called the police once they discovered the body. According to the three young guys who discovered the body, the murder happened within the previous 48 hours. The autopsy was performed that same afternoon after the body was found. They found substantial blunt force trauma to the head and neck of the deceased victim. They lanced her liver and strangled her to death. No sexual assault was found by the forensics team. Since the woman had not brought any identification with her, they were unable to identify her. Between 5'4" and 5'6" in height, she was likely between the ages of 18 and 25. A little over 125 pounds she was. The victim's hair, a dark reddish-brown, was braided into pigtails, and she wore a dark reddish-brown dress. Her eyes were a pale shade of brown, and her skin was freckled. The deceased had a prominent nasal bridge and a rosy complexion, all of which suggested that she had spent considerable time outdoors in the sun prior to her untimely demise. There was no sign that the murder victim had ever needed any fillings or dental work due to her superb dental hygiene. Only her upper right incisor, which had been crowned with porcelain, was different. Her wisdom teeth were completely unharmed. A number of scars were found all over the woman's body, which was noted by the coroner. She bore scars on her arms, ankle, and one wrist in addition to the vertical one under her chin. She was last seen with a brown pullover sweater with an orange crisscross pattern down the front, which she wore with a high ponytail. At the crime site, she was wearing blue Wrangler pants with rolled-up bell-bottoms, a white bra, bare feet, and no other identifying information. They also found a hoodless poncho made of what they believed to be deer skin and lined with purple fabric on her. She went unidentified for over 30 years. Buckskin Girl was the unsettling nickname given to her because of the suede jacket with fringe that she was last seen wearing. The name Marcia King was given to the girl whose dead body was discovered in 1981 near Troy, Ohio. For over 30 years, an Ohio homicide victim was referred to as the Buckskin Girl after the jacket she was wearing when she was gunned down. In 2018, forensic genealogy identified her as Marcia King, 21, but her murderer remains at large. Authorities were struggling to find a solution to the girl's murder because they had no leads on who the victim was. The term Buckskin Girl was commonly used to refer to her. They assumed she was unidentified since she had to have been killed far from her homeland for no one to recognize her. It was obvious to them that the girl had been murdered elsewhere and then abandoned on the side of the road. This notion is supported in part by the fact that the girl's bare feet appeared uncontaminated. If she had been barefoot, her feet would have gotten muddy or dusty from walking along the roadside. The location where her body was found was about 5 miles, or 8 kilometers, from Interstate 75. The authorities speculated that her killer was probably driving along the interstate when he saw her body and decided to dump it there for ease of disposal. The Buckskin Girl's case was added to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's database in April 2016, along with 2 updated forensic facial reconstruction pictures. Both depictions of the girl were done. However, one included her hair styled in red braided pigtails. In case anyone recognized her from these photos, they were released to the press. An isotope study of the victim's hair and fingernails was performed in 2016. It was discovered that, contrary to popular belief, she had not spent the last few months of her life in Ohio, but rather in the southwestern or southeastern United States. The Miami County Sheriff's Office decided to use forensic palynology to try to determine the identity of the victim or the perpetrator of the crime in 2016. U.S. Customs and Border Protection carried it out. Based on the forensic palynology results, it was determined that the buckskin girl was most likely a native of Canada or the northeastern United States. Further analysis revealed that the buckskin girl's clothing was heavily soiled with soot from traffic, suggesting that she frequently hitchhiked. The pollen found on her clothes indicated that she had recently been in a dry region, probably in the western United States or Mexico. A female murder victim who went undiscovered for 36 years. On April 9, 2018, however, the Miami Valley Regional Crime Laboratory released its official identification of the buckskin girl as Marcia Lenore King. She was a 21-year-old Little Rock, Arkansas local. The 9th of June, 1959, saw the birth of Marcia Lenore King. The DNA Doe Project, with the help of the Miami Valley Regional Crime Laboratory and Full Genomes Corporation, has used DNA evidence to identify her positively. In 2017, Doctors Margaret Press and Colleen Fitzpatrick founded a nonprofit called the DNA Doe Project. Its original intent was to use genealogical resources to put names to faces. As one of the earliest cases accepted by the project, the buckskin girl case involved the use of degraded DNA. Mount St. Joseph University forensic anthropologist Dr. Elizabeth Murray called the work done by the nonprofit DNA Doe Project to use genetic genealogy to the identification of unknown people groundbreaking in this case. At a press conference on Wednesday, Murray, who has worked on more than 30 cold cases in Ohio, said, "This is not your run-of-the-mill DNA solves unidentified person. A lot of people today will tell you that what we're doing here is truly revolutionary and groundbreaking." Despite extensive investigation, Murray claimed that law enforcement had been unable to identify buckskin girl up until this point positively. In the hopes that someone might recognize the distinctive jacket the murdered woman was wearing when it was discovered, police made it public. The victim's DNA profiles were created in 2001 by the Miami Valley Regional Crime Lab and in 2009 by a DNA lab at the University of North Texas. According to Murray, buckskin girl was one of the first entries into the university's National Missing and Unidentified Persons System database in 2008. After uploading their DNA profiles, Murray stated there were no matches in the government DNA database CODIS. No one had come forwards to claim recognition of buckskin girl since 2016, when a new photo of her face was released by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and widely circulated in the media. According to Murray, a private lab was able to create a DNA profile of the victim from a sample of blood seized from the scene of the crime. The DNA Doe Project received the profile and utilized it to locate a victim's family member using a public genealogy database and methods similar to those employed by commercial genealogy services. After the relative provided a DNA sample to the Miami Valley Regional Crime Lab, they were able to confirm the match. According to the Sheriff's Department, the search for her murderer has begun. Sheriff Steve Lord of Miami County said Wednesday that he has been in touch with the victim's family and that they have been helpful. According to the police, King's mother has not moved in 37 years and has kept the same phone number, hoping against hope that her daughter will one day come home. Honestly, this is one of the saddest cases we have seen, and we hope they find peace eventually. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure to also drop your comment on the case you would like us to do next. And of course, let us know how much you love this video. You should also make sure to share this with your cold cases loving friends.